And I think that you have to be quite delusional to do something like this. You just have to believe that it's going to work. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as lonely. Didn't celebrate Christmas. I didn't leave my house. Fully focused. Was working 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on this company. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on my other job. And then 5 p.m. to 9. If I'm going to do it, I have to go all in. I say, like, burn the boats, burn the bridges, like, no way back.
There's no plan B. This is plan A.
This is it.
Only plan.
It's a very, very lonely road to build something. You just have to, like I said, have this unbelievable level of trust in yourself. Why do I feel so lonely when I've got so much going for me? It's always just going to be me. And so the relationship that I've built with myself now is great. So I'm learning to set boundaries because I have been a bit of a people pleaser in my life. I genuinely don't have time to be a people pleaser now.
For everyone. Yeah, because being a people pleaser, exactly, it will take away time from what you're trying to do.
And then I can't help other people if I'm struggling on my own, you know. It's a very, very fine balance. Every year I write myself a letter and I do it to future me. It's like a website. It's amazing. I think that it's all a form of manifestation.
Well, Tatum.
Yes.
Tatum Storm.
Yeah, Tatum Storm,
Such
Greg.
a cool... Tatum Storm, Greg.
Yeah.
Not that Greg is not cool, but Storm is such a cool name.
Yeah, Greg really lets it down. No, I'm joking. I love my family, but...
It's better than mine. Mine, you know, your names are cool.
Yeah.
You know, mine spell arse.
Oh.
Yes, it's very cool. Yeah. Yes. And on that note, welcome to the Rice Pudding Project.
I love that intro.
Yes. You know, we try to keep it very...
light.
Yes. You know.
Keep it breathing.
Meaningful. It's about childhood and trauma and, you know, started with my names. But you have cool names.
Yes.
You know, like
I'm
Tatum.
really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, really lucky. My parents chose Storm because of a really interesting reason. So in the UK, at least they used to, I don't know if it's the same now, they select a name for you. The government selects a name for you if you don't give your child a name within 2 weeks of them being born.
Okay.
And it was like just before the government were going to select a name for me because they hadn't chosen one. I was meant to be a boy. Like, everything was messed up. And I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. I was supposed to be called James, but Tatum. And it was a stormy night, and they were like, we'll call her Storm.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Needs must.
Okay. And Tatum, because they liked
Tatum
O'Neill?
I mean, yeah, actually, I think that it was kind of came from Tatum O'Neill.
Yeah.
But they shortlisted a load of names. Again, why it took 2 weeks to be able to find one. And then they gave me Tatum. But, do you know, like, I love having an unusual name. I also love the fact that no one remembers it, which is great.
No one remembers Tatum?
No, people either really remember it from the second that I say it or will never, ever get it right. Okay. And I get a lot of Tatums. I get wildly a lot of Satans on the phone. They're like,
Satan.
Yeah. And people don't bat an eyelid to that. That I'm like, Tatum, and they're like, S-A-T. And I'm like, no, T-A-T.
They don't sound the same.
No, they don't. I get a lot of Katie as well.
Katie?
Tatum, Katie.
No, I don't get it. It doesn't, there's no. Okay.
So yeah, that's my name.
Cool. And what do you do?
So I am founder and head of an influencer marketing agency called Bees&Honey that I launched in Dubai just over 6 months ago now. We've just passed our 6 month mark.
Okay.
Which is amazing, and I'm loving every single minute of it. And I'm a new founder, so that's been a wild journey on its own.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, very, very difficult.
I've never wanted to have my own company because of the stress and the trauma that would go along with it.
Do you know what? I think it's amazing to be able to grow something of your own, but the journey of being a founder is so different from what I thought it would be. I think I went into it a little bit deluded, and I think that you have to be quite delusional to do something like this. You know, you just have to believe that it's going to work. But there's a lot of different elements of it where I wasn't expecting it to be quite as lonely or as, you know, tricky or such, you know, vast highs and lows. And, you know, realizing this sort of like trust that you really have to have in yourself, which is amazing. Like, it grows from launching something and seeing things work out and then not work out and then just having to get on and persevere with it. But the level of trust that you have to build with yourself to know that if something doesn't work out now, it's going to work out next time. You trust yourself to be able to continue going on and making sure that you're able to make it work in the future is great. It's nothing I've ever experienced before.
Okay. What were you doing before you created your company?
So I've worked in influence marketing for 9 years.
Okay.
In the UK.
Yeah.
I came to Dubai last September. My dad and stepmom live here.
Okay.
And I came to come and see them and had no sort of inkling that I would even move here. Couldn't turn off from work and just started looking into the creative marketing industry here. Couldn't work out why I hadn't seen anything about it really in the past. Hadn't seen any really big campaigns coming from the UAE. And knew that Dubai was a super digitally connected territory. 99.8% of people here use social media. It's the most socially connected territory in the world because it's just how it's set up.
Yeah.
And brands have money to spend here, but I just hadn't seen anything like massively relevant or creatively relevant. So decided to meet with people while I was out here just on a holiday. And realized that there was a huge gap in the market for the type of marketing that I did and the way that I approached it.
Okay.
And then in between September and November last year, started having a look at how we were going to be able to launch something or where the opportunity was. Because I knew that there was about to be this huge creator boom in Dubai. And I predicted that that there were lots of talent that were coming over here and developing their niches, and also caught wind that there was some, there was some projects that were being built in the UAE in terms of like Creators HQ, for instance. There was the 1 Billion Followers Summit, which was happening in January 2025, so beginning of this year. It was the second year that they were doing it, so I already knew about that.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, there's something really big is happening here, and I want to be part of it.
You don't get scared about that? Because you move country and then you open a new company.
I think it's the speed that I did it in. It just stopped me from being worried. I just didn't have the opportunity to look back. It was really, really weird because from about November last year until the beginning of January this year, I knew it was happening, but I was waiting for some final paperwork to be done and just basically waiting for confirmation.
Yeah.
And by that point, in November, all of my friends in the UK and some of my family were saying, you've wanted this to happen. And I appreciate that you want it to happen, but it might not. And I was so sure and I was so determined that I was going to make it out here by hook or by crook that I stayed in my house the whole of December last year. I didn't celebrate Christmas. I didn't leave my house. I just literally fully focused. I was working on 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on this company here on Bees&Honey, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on my other job, and then 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on this company here, in order to build it out. And also I just, because lots of people, like we were saying before, were trying to have an influence on me in terms, not because there was any malice behind it, but were trying to protect me. In terms of saying, it might not work. I know that you're really determined, but like have a look at plan B, plan C. And I knew it was going to work. And I was so focused that I just didn't want to leave. I didn't want to speak to anyone about it.
I'm curious how you have that mindset, to be honest, because like I'll be focused and I want to do something like whether it's stand-up comedy or directing, whatever it is, because I do a few things.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's what I love to do. And when you feel like it's really what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then someone will give you advice.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, do you think it was maybe premature that you'd left your job? Would you like to go back to your job? Would you take that job back again?
Yeah.
And then there's two ways to take that. Like I take it as like, oh, they don't believe in me. They don't think that I can do it. But it's not that. They, like you said, they're not saying in malice. They just care about you enough to be worried about you.
Yeah.
They know that that's your safe spot. So how do you...
I mean, it's one, like, either just don't tell people about stuff until it's done.
Yeah, but I have a big mouth, so I like to, I get excited, I'm like, I want to do this.
I know, but it's weird. Sometimes I've found, and I know that this happens to loads of people, that you talk about something that you really want to do and then it doesn't end up happening because other people influence it. And to be honest, you know, even some of the people that you think you know the best might not necessarily have your best interest at heart. And maybe then, you know, they don't feel like they're doing enough, or in their eyes, they wouldn't take the same decisions or the same actions that you would. So they're trying to influence you in order to pull you back. For me, I just got into this mindset of, if I'm going to do it, I have to go all in.
Yeah.
I say, like, burn the boats, burn the bridges, like, no way back. Like, there is no way for me to be able to go back. I have to be able to push myself forward.
There's no plan B. This is plan A, and there's only plan A.
Yeah, 100%. And it's worked. Like, it is actively working. I'm not saying that it's been the easiest journey, and there have been a lot of times, you know, it's incredibly tiring. It's a very, very lonely road to build something and not be able to necessarily have a huge team of people around you to be able to say, oh, do you think this is right? You just have to, like I said, have this unbelievable level of trust in yourself.
Okay. You've referred to being lonely, or the process being lonely a couple of times. Were you your only child? I
have two half sisters.
Okay.
But they're much younger than me. So one of them is 22 and one of them is 15, 16.
Okay.
So I was an only child for a lot of my younger life.
Yeah. So then you're used to being alone and focused yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I weirdly, actually, until this year, I was really bad at being by myself.
Okay. What changed?
I don't know. I feel like, so I've always been in like long-term relationships for like most of my adult life, really, since I was 17 years old. Okay. I'm 31 now.
Okay.
And I finally, now I've been out of a relationship for maybe a year and a half. And I realized that all of the people that I'd been with before were the wrong people to be with. Otherwise, I would still be with them.
Yeah.
And when I was in Dubai last November, I was like laying there and I was like, God, I feel really lonely. I'd spent like a week by myself trying to sort out some business stuff. My family were away. I was staying in their apartment. And I hadn't seen any of my friends out here. And I was like, why do I feel so lonely when I've got so much going for me? And why would I not have felt lonely, even if I knew that I had a partner in a different country who turns out like they didn't care about me enough, or like the relationship wasn't working and I just didn't see it. And I was like, this is so much better. Like, I'm alone. I've got like the whole world is my oyster. I could literally do anything. But for some reason, I was more comfortable before knowing that there was someone in another country who I was somehow romantically tied to. If I was on holiday by myself, I'd be like, oh, I'm not so lonely because I have someone else. And again, this is like this whole trust thing. Like, it's just me. Like, I'm the only person I'm going to have for the whole of my life. That's a given. Like, you know, whether I end up having a partner in my life or whether I don't, it's always just going to be me. And so the relationship that I've built with myself now is great. It's so funny. I was having this conversation again with a friend the other day, and they were saying that, like, it was like, oh, at what point do you really start liking yourself? And I was like, I actually can say that I really like myself. Now, I've done a lot of work on...
How long did that take?
I mean, probably since I came out of my last relationship.
Like a year and a half?
Yeah, it's like a year and a half ago. I just like really looked at myself and I was like, who do I want to be? Because I had no idea.
And who do you want to be?
This. Tatum Storm, Greg. No, I'm joking. No, but
No, but that's right.
Yeah, no, I think that, you know, I'm very happy with, like, I'm an incredibly kind person. I'm incredibly motivated.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm realizing what the most important thing is, like, who are the most important people in my life and where my passions lie. And for me, one of the most important things is now this business, and also taking care of myself. I'm also an athlete now as well. Training.
You run now?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Running, yeah.
A lot of running. That's amazing. Like, that's changed my life in the last 3 months. I'm training for a 100K ultramarathon.
I saw that.
In New Zealand in February.
Yeah, so I have a friend
who,
you know, is in the bike business, and he says running is, you know, he makes a joke. He says running is for people who can't afford bicycles.
Running is so expensive.
It is now, the shoes and everything, you know, the carbon fiber and the things like that.
The amount of money that I pay on running now is my biggest expense.
No. Yeah.
It's more than my rent.
Did you find that kind of meditation?
100%.
Yeah.
It's a huge form of meditation. I think that maybe that's why I'm so happy and so comfortable with myself now, because I am able to kind of set time aside to be able to really get into my head in order to get out of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, this journey of being a founder, one of the things that I've identified is I feel incredibly guilty if I'm not working on my business. Any minute that I'm not working on the business in some way actively, I feel really guilty.
But you have to have that balance, right?
You do.
There's burnout.
And I've burnt out multiple times over the past few months. And I'm really good at identifying it now. I've burnt out multiple times throughout my career because it's a high stress career working in marketing across lots of big high profile clients. And yeah, I've realized that the one thing that I'm really like, the one time where I'm so happy to not work is when I'm training, because I know that I'm doing something for myself and I'm happy to take that time. But I don't have rest days because I can't have a rest day.
You don't need to have rest days, because rest days will come as part of life.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not giving yourself plantar fasciitis or shin splints, then it's fine.
Yeah. No, I have amazing coaches and physiotherapists and osteos and nutritionists, and
I love that you can be comfortable with yourself and like yourself and love yourself, because I think that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Someone told me an exercise once to do where you just literally look in the mirror and you tell yourself that you love yourself.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really, really, really hard for me to do.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Once you're past the embarrassment of it, you're like, I'm actually embarrassed as to why I'm not able to do it.
It was more.
It makes me sad for myself. Like, I've done the same activity and I couldn't do it, and I was like, I'm so upset for myself. Like, this poor person who.
But there was a time in life when I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then it became a time in life when I could.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And now I love myself, and then I'm good. But before that, I couldn't.
How's that changed your life? Like, is there any sectors of your life that you feel have improved since that self-love journey has evolved?
Yeah, because I now really understand what love is.
Yes.
And it was only after, it's after I got married, and then you think what being a husband is and what the values are, and then you have a kid, and then you're a father, and then you have the society deems that you need to be this as a husband.
Yeah.
This as a father, you need to be a provider, this and that. You can't be open, you can't be vulnerable, and what have you. And then it was only when, like, I was very regimented in the way I did things, because I didn't know anything else. And I never looked in, and I didn't take care of myself, and I didn't, and then it was only when my wife just kept on just pushing and and helping and getting me to that point of looking in and taking care of myself. Then I was like, and loving myself. Then I understood. I was like, oh, okay. Now I love myself.
Yeah. Now
I understand what really loving my child and my wife really is.
Yeah.
And then it just changes, because you have to, like, it's like that whole thing, when you say, if you're in the plane, you have to put an oxygen mask on yourself first. If you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. But if you can't love yourself, and how do you know what love is and how you can love somebody else?
Yeah.
And it was the thing. And it's about, like you said, self-love and caring about yourself. But you think there's a difference between, or self-love can be misconstrued as being selfish rather than, is there a difference?
I think, it's really hard to say, right? Like, selfish, I think you sometimes have to be more, I think some people should be more selfish. I'm really learning to be more selfish myself, and not in a way that I would ever do anything or do it from the point of being malicious, but in order to make sure that I'm giving myself enough time so that I'm not putting myself in a worse position. Like, anyone who you speak to, hopefully, would always say, when someone's got like a new idea and they're like, what do you think about this? I'm like, perfect, how can I help? Like, so that's great. But also I'm learning to set boundaries, because I have been a bit of a people pleaser in my life. I genuinely don't have time to be a people pleaser now.
For everyone.
For everyone. So it's just identifying where I can help other people, but also making sure that I've got enough time to not let my cup run dry.
Yeah, because being a people pleaser, exactly, it will take away time from what you're trying to do.
And then I can't help other people if I'm struggling on my own, It's a very, very fine balance. But yeah, all of my life at the moment is either business or training for the ultra.
When is the ultra?
February.
Are you going to do marathons before?
We'll do very, very long runs before. I mean, I've never run a race. And then I did 2 half marathons in the last 3 weeks, just on a treadmill. So that's...
On the treadmills?
Yeah. I was working through some stuff.
But you know, the treadmill is, I mean, I won't say it's easier. Mentally, it's not easier.
So much easier and like physically. The ultra that we're doing is on a trail. So it's 2,000...
Oh, you're trail running?
It's 2,200 meters feet elevation, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, going to take the longest time that it can take is 26 hours. So
you have to do it within 26 hours.
You have to do it within 26. I'm hoping
you have a support crew?
Yeah, there's 40 of us going out there to do it. So some people, so it's part of my run club and part of Uncommon Club, and they were already doing the race, and I joined 3 months ago, and I was like, I need something else to be passionate about beside the business in order to let the business succeed, so that I'm looking after myself to put myself into the right place physically, mentally, in order to be able to work. Like, I get up at 4 a.m. every single day.
I love that.
Every day. Saturday, Sunday, any day of the week.
But when you tell people that, don't they think you're crazy and they ask you when you sleep?
Yeah, and I say I get in bed at 8 p.m.
Okay.
And
okay. All right. Sorry. That's. I'm like, I don't need sleep. I sleep at like 10 o'clock. Like 6 hours is good for me.
No, I mean, like, I try and get into bed at like 8 p.m. and then depending on how stressed I am, I'll probably fall asleep by like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Last night I was emailing people at 11:30 at night, and then I
woke up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I woke up at 4:30 this morning, slightly later. I had a huge lie-in, half an hour. Yeah. But also because I was training in the gym, so my gym doesn't open till 6.
Oh no, I had to literally, I was so annoyed. I had to find a gym that was 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that was part of this package. And then they came out of that offering. So then I have this package where I'm paying like, extra money for all this access to these gyms. But the gym I really want is 24 hours. So I had to pay another membership for this gym alone.
Oh my God.
So I have like gym memberships everywhere.
Coming out your ears.
Everywhere. And people are like, how many gyms do you need? I'm like, I have a gym for every day of the week.
Honestly, I love that. I don't care. But it's like
cheaper than health. It's healthcare.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because I go, they're like, this one's pretty much 24 hours. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, it closes at midnight. I'm like, I need to go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I go to the gym at 3:30.
Yeah.
They're like, why? I'm like, because nobody is there.
Oh, I'm really lucky. I go to a really quiet gym, but I pay for that privilege. So it's just one of the other expenses that comes with being an athlete now. Like, it's crazy. It's so expensive, but it's also amazing because I've just automated every element of my life.
How was your recovery then? Because if you're running every day.
So I don't run every single day.
Okay.
I train 9 to 10 times a week.
Okay.
And that's spread in between interval running, long runs, recovery runs, and then also strength training, mobility. And then on top of that, I also do different types of therapy. So I'll do sports therapy, physiotherapy, and then contrast therapy as well, 2 to 3 times a week.
What's contrast therapy?
Where like sauna and ice bath.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, because I do that.
Yeah.
I do the red light and the ice bath.
So good for you.
Yeah.
Also very good for mental resilience as well.
I go to longevity most of the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's insane. They have like...
I love it.
The ice bath is like painful.
It's so painful, but I quite like pain, so...
Yeah, you're going to run 100K.
I know.
And then the other thing is that you don't use music, right? Will you run with...
I now run without music. That's only been in the last sort of month, and I'm with loads of... I work out with loads of people who have done ultras before, have done multiple marathons, like multiple days in a row, and they were all like, you need to learn how to run without music, because some races you can't run with music. Mine you can, but if you're running for 22 hours,
There's only so many times you can listen to Eye of the Tiger on repeat.
Yeah. And
it's only going to motivate you so much.
But I think it's sort of part of that meditation, and is to be able to hear your own feet, hear your own breathing. Yeah. It also kind of focuses you, because music is really distracting. That's what I use it for. If I'm having a horrible day and I really don't want to work out, which doesn't happen a lot, to be honest, then I'll put music in and I'll like try and
What's your go-to playlist?
So I create loads of playlists. It's something that I've always done. I create playlists for friends. They're all labeled underneath emojis, which is like the emoji that I think of when I think of that playlist.
Oh, okay, not that person.
No, but the playlist sometimes is dependent on the person. But anyway, so I've got heaps of different playlists that I make, and to be honest, like sometimes I'll listen to classical music.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll listen to house music. Sometimes I'll listen to really, really like serious rap. Like
see my lifting, like when I go train in the gym, it always ends up getting into like I'm gonna do like hip hop because I grew up with hip hop.
Yeah, I love
hip hop. I'm hip hop. I'm listening to Method Man. I'm listening to Eminem, 50 Cent, and then all of a sudden I'll throw in like an ABBA song, and then it's like there's like a bunch, and then I got like Bonnie M, and it was like, how did this become like hardcore? Like I was like, and there's like La La Rasputin, and it's like Mamma Mia, and I'm like, but I'm still there, and it's just like
I love it,
and nobody knows that I've gone from 50 Cent to Eminem to ABBA.
I love
except
it.
my wife, and my wife, you know, she's like, she can't. She's like, really, ABBA? I'm like,
that's brilliant. No, I love it. But yeah, I'm definitely both of my half marathons I've ran so far on the treadmill have been completely without music. Because also when you're doing a lot longer runs, you have to think about nutrition, you have to think about hydration. And if you're doing that every half an hour goes really quickly when you're running.
I've never, the funny thing is, I don't think I've ever run a half marathon by itself.
Right.
I only did it part of half Ironmans.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. And I don't think, because I never understood why just to run.
Yeah.
I never did I did a 10K run race, but everything else is every time I've run, it's been with, you know, on the back of that.
Yeah.
And I had a coach who, he did 14 Ironman. He did 14 marathons. So I was like, oh, okay, coach. Like, and his fastest time was insane. It was like 2:42. So I was like, okay, coach. Like, so you've run a 2:42? He said, yeah, I did it in Hawaii when I did the Ironman, blah, blah. I was like, so when you did a marathon by itself, how fast was it? And I was like, no, my fastest is 2:42. I'm like, yeah, but you've run a marathon without swimming and then biking 100K, right? He's like, no, why would I run a marathon by itself? I was like, I don't know. You just decided to, like, it's crazy. So I don't know. But the nutrition, I realized that nutrition is supremely.
It's so important. And it's not even like when you're doing really long races. So at the moment 21 is the longest that I've run. I'm really comfortable running 21 now, and I can do that at a relatively good pace. Although, like, own pace, own race, I'm the least competitive person when it comes to sports and to running. When it comes to business and money, I'm the most competitive person you've ever met in your whole entire life.
How can you switch like that?
I don't know. I was never really into sports when I grew up, so
You weren't competitive as a child?
No, but my parents are very, very competitive business people, and I think that I've learned from, but not sports people. So
where do you get the drive from? Is it your mum or your dad, or both?
Both, but I definitely think both. I think my mum always just taught me like that you can do anything. I was fed a lot of delusion when I was a child, which has allowed me to be delulu as the Salulu.
You get that delusion that you can do anything you don't believe you can?
No, I definitely do, but you have to be delusional in order to get to the place where you actually do that. Otherwise, you kill your dreams when you're just thinking about them. Okay. Like, I'll think of a dream and I'll be like, oh, no, I'm going to go and do that, and then I'll research it and I'll go and do it. Okay. But sometimes that delusion isn't great. But my dad's, you know, neither of my parents went to university. I didn't go to university. Neither of them did their GCSEs even.
Okay. Where did you grow up again in England? Remind me?
North. So I've moved 31 times around London, but always around
31.
31. I'm an expert mover. Dubai was my 32nd move.
Wait, 31 in the span of how many years?
30 years. Both my parents were in property, so we did lots of...
I hate moving.
I love moving. I can't stay still.
Obviously. Yes. 32 times.
Yeah. Dubai was probably one of the easiest moves.
So the other 31 were all in London?
Yeah, all in London. In and around like the outskirts of London, like around the M25.
Okay. So your parents were in property, so that's why you moved a lot?
Yeah, we moved a lot because we buy places, rent places, do places up, move around.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and then they got divorced, so then I was doing that with both of them. So like double the moves. But yeah, Dubai was probably one of the easiest ones because it was so straightforward. It was just like book someone to come to my house to pack up all my stuff, take it away, ship it. I shipped my stuff here. Big mistake. And then because it took like 4 months to get here, and I lived with nothing in my house for 4 months. Which is great, just a bed.
Why didn't you just buy everything here?
I know that now.
Oh, okay.
I know that now.
Because, like...
For people who are moving, anyone who's listening who's moving from the UK, buy your stuff here.
Yeah, everything.
It literally did a world tour on a ship, like, before it got here, and I was following it because I knew what ship it was. So it was like going from London to Morocco to like Oman to India to Oman to India.
You should have gone on that trip. That's a cool trip to do.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
I was like, I honestly could have carried it here quicker. I could have swam with it on my back quicker.
You could have run as well now.
Hell yeah, I could have run.
So what was it like? I mean, like, so did you change schools a lot then as a child?
No, because we were always moving around like the same sort of area. So I went to some very interesting schools. So I went to very, very strict Catholic girls' schools.
Okay. I went to Catholic school. It wasn't a girls' school. I was a Catholic school when I was a kid. And they kicked me out because they found out I wasn't Catholic.
Really?
I don't know what gave it away. But Amin Soltani, they were like, oh yeah, he must be Catholic when I was 4.
There were lots of people who weren't Catholic, but it was very, very, very strict. And it was in a house in Hampstead. So like the smallest year had 3 people in it. The largest year had 16 people in it. So it was
very strange.
It was really, really weird. It was great, but it was the type of thing where it was like your socks had to be a certain length, your shoes had to be a certain type of shoe, your hair had to be tied up, and you couldn't wear certain earrings. And, you know, it was probably like one thing away from being like where they'd hit
rulers.
Yeah, just because they weren't allowed to do that in Hampstead. Yeah, it was literally in a house, in a 5-story house. So I did that, and then went loose when I left and went to...
Where did you go secondary school?
Secondary school was the same. I was there until I was 16, and then I went to 2 very artistic schools and studied fine art and photography afterwards that were both co-ed. And
Where?
Hampstead. I went to Hampstead School of Fine Art.
Okay.
Very, very wild school. Great school, but wild. Did lots of amazing painting and met some really cool people there. And then also King Alfred's School, which is notorious for being a bit wild. And it was.
You went from fine art, to influencer marketing.
No, so I worked in sales for 6 years before that.
Okay.
So
selling.
I've worked for a really, really long time. I've worked since I was 15.
Okay.
I worked alongside.
An insurance card, you were ready to go.
Yeah, straight out. But also, my parents were like, "Go and earn your money." Like,
when did they stop giving you pocket money?
When I was 15.
So they're very, very. They were very. They're the reason you're so independent.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because they had to be independent from a really young age.
Yeah.
You know, my dad tells me this really funny story of both of my grandparents have died now, but when he was younger, I think that he told this story at my grandpa's funeral recently. He was saying that so he was 15. I think that he'd failed his exams, and he came home from school one day, and there was a telephone and a phone book on the doorstep of the house, and my grandma had come out and was like, "You're not coming in, you're leaving home, find a job." So he had to sit there with a phone and call up loads of companies and see if he could get a job. And he was really young. And he managed to get a interview with an estate agency and mistook it for a travel agency. And he went in and they were like, "Why do you want this job?" And he was like, "I love holidays." And they were like, "Cool." Not what I asked. And funnily enough, he's had a property company now for 30 years that he started when he was 25 years old. And
here as well?
In the UK.
Okay.
In London. I worked there for 3 years in lettings as well. So I worked I finished college. I did some odd jobs in between sort of like school and during college. I worked for a record label, and I worked as a barista and a waitress in an American diner. And then I moved into working in travel.
Yeah.
As like travel sales, luxury travel sales. And then I worked in property. And then I worked in private equity, hated it. Had met someone else at that time who worked within like PR and marketing, and I was like, there is no way that is a job, because that is way too fun. And then and then I went back into interning at the age of 21, 22, something like that, and then worked for a PR agency, realized that influencer marketing was this really, really cool industry that definitely was growing and no one really understood yet. Took that as my niche, and then 9 years later, here I am.
Okay.
Worked across lots of different agencies, lots of different brands. My last agency, I was there for 4.5 years and did some really cool, like, industry leading endeavors. Launched some really cool stuff there.
Okay.
We launched the first ever influencers private members club, which was physical and in person, which was great to try and help level the creator economy as a whole. and provide creators with, you know, information about how to be a creator and not just how to produce content, but also like how to read briefs and how to do their taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really keen to do here, because the UAE is still learning when it comes to creator marketing as an industry.
Yeah.
And since we're at the beginning, this like boom phase that's been happening since the beginning of this year, now is the time for me, as someone who has a strong opinion about the industry and has learned a lot about it so far and is trying to bring some of that knowledge here. We have to make sure that I have to make sure that I'm sharing that education with brands, with creators in whatever way possible, whether that's doing workshops, which I've got some planned, which would be great. And also just like a lot of my friends here are creators now, and I'm sort of having conversations with them and helping them understand how to approach brands and how not to approach brands and things like that. So
curious, when you were like, because you do a lot of stuff, which is amazing.
I'm always busy.
Who did you look up to as a child? Like, who was your role model? Like,
that's a really good question.
Like,
I don't know. I guess I just looked up to my parents.
Okay.
There was no person like in particular.
Yeah.
It was probably a crush on some sort of American actor or something like that. But no, I've always looked up to my parents, and you know, they've been incredibly resilient. You know, we didn't come from money, but they've done very well for themselves in their lives. So, you know, I always felt like I could do that too, and have had, when I find a passion for something, I literally won't let it go.
And when you were a kid, like, what was your passion when you were younger?
I don't know. No idea.
Because you didn't do sports. You didn't like to run when you were a kid.
I didn't do sports. I was a fat child. I was a large child who hated doing any type of exercise. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I was really into music. I learned a lot of instruments. You know, I spent a lot of time in Ibiza, and you know, and in the UK, we had lots of family who lived there. So I grew up in between Ibiza when I wasn't studying and the UK when I was studying.
Okay.
Which has taught me all sorts of things about life.
Yeah, Ibiza.
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
No, I mean, it's nice. Like, I think that I've had such great and varied experience. And I also, like you said, I was brought up as an only child before my half-sisters were born.
Yeah.
And my parents used to take me everywhere with them when I was a kid. My mum got pregnant with me 6 months into their relationship.
Okay.
So I was a whoopsie baby, or a happy accident. They won't agree to that, but it's true. But they used to take me out with all of their friends and put me underneath the table in like a car seat, and everyone would take it in turns to like rock me underneath the table at like clubs and stuff like that when I was a baby.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. And that's probably why I love house music now. And I can sleep around anything. But we did lots of traveling as a family, and when I was younger as well, so I really like traveling too. But Dubai is the first country where I've lived full time by myself. It just didn't really freak me out. I don't know why.
It's so safe. It's so cool.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah.
I think that,
especially for a woman. I find that. I mean, I'm saying it as a man, it's like, oh, it's so safe. But like,
no, but I mean, 3 years ago, I never would have thought that I would leave the UK. Like, I loved London.
Yeah.
And it became so unsafe there and so expensive. And, you know, it really just felt like I'd fallen out of love with it, and it was time to go. And Dubai gave the perfect opportunity for me to be able to build something incredible in the way that I wanted to, while also living in a territory that was incredibly safe, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, I never would have been able to run outside with headphones on, even in daylight now.
Phone.
No, you can't even. When I tell people that here, and I'm like, you literally can't take your mobile out on the street, and they're like, no way. And I'm like, seriously, you have to hold it with 2 hands close to you because people come and take it from you.
It's
really scary. It's very sad, but yeah, I mean, you can't really be mad at the people who have necessity and trying to steal because they don't have, and they're not being supported with. You know, not to get political, but they're just not being supported in the way that they should be. And therefore, I feel awful that that's their last chance. No one wants to be in a position where they have to steal.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dubai, I absolutely love it. I can never leave now. Like I'm so spoiled here. So spoiled. Like,
I can relate.
So spoiled.
Because I go back to the UK, we spend a few weeks there, and it's great for a little while, and it's great to see friends and family.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to get back.
I mean, I've been back twice in the last 6 months, once for a wedding, once for a funeral. And it sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
And I went back for like 12 hours for each. So I'd literally go from the airport, go to the thing, go to the
we
event.
spend a little bit longer than that. I mean, we go with my wife and kids, so we do a little bit, I have to
do if you're traveling with kids. I'm like, in, out, don't want to be here.
No, I have to have like fish and chips somewhere. I have to have a roast dinner somewhere. Those kind of things. But then I'm like, okay, done.
Yeah.
Out.
I'm really going to miss seasons. That's the one thing. I used to love autumn in the UK, and now we don't get that here.
But the Christmas here is amazing. Winter time is phenomenal.
I'm excited. Considering that I didn't celebrate Christmas last year because I was so locked in. I had a kebab on Christmas Day. I'm not joking. I went for an 8K run and I ordered a kebab on Christmas Day. And then I spoke to all of my friends around the world who were with their families and did video calls with everyone. You didn't want to be with
parents on Christmas or sisters?
So everyone was out of the country.
Okay.
And the flights were crazy expensive to be able to come back here.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was just so locked in. I didn't want to ever be in a situation where I thought I was going to doubt myself or what I was doing and then end up unraveling and talking myself out of coming here.
Do you ever get into a situation where you doubt what you're doing? And when you do, what gets you out of that?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay.
I think that everyone does.
It's natural, right?
It's natural.
How do you get out of it? Because some people go down a spiral. I can go down a spiral.
I'm good at spiraling.
Okay.
I'm really good at spiraling, but I give myself no other choice. Like, I asked for this.
Okay.
I put myself into this situation.
Yeah.
I built this trust with myself that I'm going to be able to get out of it if anything does go wrong, because I'm resourceful and because I understand what I'm doing. And, while it feels relatively flippant that I decided to move in a couple of months to be able to come here and start a company, I knew exactly what I was doing and I came from a point of knowledge, and that's it. I think that, just trust that you're doing the right thing and work out, take a holistic look at everything. Because I think, so I have this thing where I won't make any decisions before I go to bed, because I call it the scary hours, where
before you go to bed, you don't make any decisions?
No, because that's the time where I spiral. When I'm like laying in bed, the things that I think about just before I go to sleep, I'll be like, oh my God, there is no solution to this. This is the end of the world. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go, oh, all I have to do is this and this. And then that's fine. And then everything will be okay. It's really, really funny. It's like A-B voice, right?
I'm being selfish. I'm going to just ask about the spirals, because I spiral like
yeah.
You have no idea. How long does a spiral take for you? Like how long do you stop it? Because I can go days or hours depending on what the reaction is. Like yesterday I was about to spiral and the boss, my wife, I call her Ministry of Interior sometimes, I told her, this is what's happened and this is what this person said. And then she was like, why are you letting one person's opinion affect anything? And then I was like, do you not have belief in yourself? I was like, yeah, sometimes. She's like, and then she doesn't shout. She's very this she's like.
But sometimes you need someone to reset you.
100%.
Like I have a support system here. I'm so lucky, the community of friends I have, and this is kind of one of the things where I said that the journey to the top is really, really lonely, because you do have people who you have to stop. You don't end up speaking to as much anymore because they don't understand the journey that you're on.
Yeah.
But then in doing that, you build people who are aligned with you build relationships with people who are aligned with your journey and who are able to provide you with that support. Now, you have to also put yourself in the situation where you're willing to do the same thing for them too. But, I do have friends who I will call up and I will be like, I am I feel like I'm falling down the stairs proverbially here and I'm about to reach the bottom, and they're like, well, there's a trampoline at the bottom, so don't worry because you're gonna bounce back up.
Oh, I love that. I do love that.
Yeah, it's up. I mean, listen, you're always gonna get to the bottom, you're always gonna have to get back up. And one of the things which there's this quote going around the internet at the moment which kind of helps me a little bit with spiraling when I have consecutive days of bad things that are happening bad and I'm struggling to be positive about it, is if you knew that the 26th loss, or if the 25th loss was going to be the last loss and the 26th one was going to be the win, how fast would you blow through the 25 losses in order to get to the 26th?
Yeah.
So whenever anything goes wrong for me, I'm not saying like don't pay attention to the facts that's going to the stuff that's going wrong, but learn from it, pivot, change if you need to, push forward. That's it. You can't dwell. We don't have time to buy. Time moves twice as fast as anywhere else in the rest of the world. And there's no point in, dwelling on something that's already happened. It's the only person that remembers it in the way that you remember it is you. There's no record of it. It's just a figment of your imagination. So just finish, done, khalas, next. That's it. Move forward.
Yeah.
Because eventually everything will go right. If you're doing something for the right reason and, karma, good person, treat people nice, everything always comes back around,
That's beautiful. What do you want people to know about you? Like, what's next for Tatum besides the run?
Besides the run, I mean, the run is like literally the biggest thing ever. And I'm starting to speak about it a lot more at the moment publicly, and I'm trying to, share my journey because, 6 months ago, I never would have been in the position where I thought I could do something like this. I couldn't run 6 months ago, and now I'm doing half marathons on the fly on the weekend, great.
On the treadmill.
Just on the treadmill.
Yes.
But no, I'm trying to speak a lot more now about the journey that I've gone on, about this founder's journey as well, because I feel like I wish I had approached it with a little bit more knowledge about the stuff that could go wrong.
Okay.
And also just expectations of how long things take. Because for me, I feel like I thought success was going to come a lot quicker.
Okay.
And I've also realized that success never feels further away than when you're about to make it. Like, it's like when you see the finish line in front of you and you've been running for 20 hours, but you see the finish line 500 meters in front of you, that feels so far away.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with success. You will put in hours and hours, weeks of work to be able to make something work. And then you get to days before the finish line or a week before the finish line, and it feels suddenly so far away. And that's the time when you really have to lock in and you really have to...
But how do you know when that's coming? Because that's when the time when you want to give up, and you don't know it's...
But you can't ever give up. You just can't. If something's taking so long and, you have to take a step back and look at yourself and be like, is this viable for me to keep on doing it? But I mean, we mentioned burnout earlier. I think that, lots of people sort of glamorize burnout, and I hate that because I've been so burnt out in my life before.
No glamour for you.
No, but people do. They're like, oh God, I'm so burnt out. And like, either you aren't, or like you really need some help to like manage your workload or mentally sort of give yourself some space. I mean, I was once so burnt out maybe 3-4 years ago that I handed in my notice at work. I was working 17 hours a day for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
With clients who were just like not particularly nice. And I was always put into situations where people knew I could get like to fix things quite quickly. So I was always sort of like the band-aid where it was like, oh, this is going wrong, put Tatum on it, because she'll be able to sort of like make stuff work. I remember I handed in my notice and they were like, sorry, no. And I was like, what? I was like sitting on a call crying, and they were like, firstly, you don't want to do this. We know that. We can see that you're burnt out. Take some time off. And luckily the company that I work for was amazing, and they were like, we're sorry that you're in the situation, take some time off, we'll work out, like just chill. But I've been in that situation before where I think that the thing that happens with burnout is the trigger for me I can see is where the smallest thing will be the biggest issue in the whole entire world, and I will not be able to like find a way around it.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, hold on, okay. And then I'm like very emotional about things, and I get quite angry about interactions with other people, and then I'm like, that's not me, hold on, I don't want to be this person, let's take a step back. And then try and like manage my workload, go on a run, good, or do some form of exercise. And then if it's if it really isn't working, I think that you have to try and work out why you're doing something. Is it for other people or is it for yourself? If it's for other people, is it worth the burnout for what you're doing in order? Is it going to affect other people positively?
Yeah.
Is it worth the burnout? If it's not, then, take a step back, work out how you're going to be able to put it back, close something down. I think that's also really admirable in people who have businesses, being able to work out actually when it's not working and when you have to throw in the towel, and doing that, with respect to yourself and in the right way and in the right order. But yeah, so if it's for other people and it's going to negatively impact other people if you end up not doing something, then push forward, if you can. If it isn't going to negatively impact anyone and it's negatively impacting you and you're able to get out of it, pull out of it. If it's something that's for you and it's just no longer possible to be able to do it financially or whatever that is, then, find something else, channel that energy into something else and see if you can save it elsewhere. But I mean, luckily I've never been in that situation from a business point of view where I've had to, close something down, or thank God. But yeah, I massively admire people who are able to kind of pull back and be like, listen, this didn't work. And actually, that's really funny. There was a client who I was speaking to years ago, doing some sort of having a look at whether we could do a campaign with them. And it just wasn't going to work out. And in the end, their company ended up closing down a couple of years later. Not because they didn't work with me, but
if they had,
no, I'm joking. But they then released a thing on LinkedIn because I randomly started speaking to them last week. We were just chatting about actually setting up a company in Dubai, and not with me, just they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I went back and had a look at their experience on LinkedIn and saw that they'd released a statement about the company that they had to close down. And they were like, these are the things that I learned. If you want to replicate it, or if you are thinking about doing something similar to this is where I went wrong. Take this into consideration, which is really why I wanted to start speaking more about this founder's journey. Like, if there is someone else who is 30 years old who is thinking about moving to a completely new country and starting up their company there.
Speak to you. Firstly, don't ship your
furniture.
Buy new.
But also just be aware of, go into it, firstly, not burnt out, with an open mind, and just make sure that you've got the drive and the belief in yourself to be able to do it. Because I did so much work on myself towards the end of last year that put me in the right situation to be able to do this year.
Yeah.
Where I really looked at what I wanted and what these repeating patterns where things were going wrong in my life. And I was like, I am the common denominator here. It's not other people, it's me.
Yeah.
So that
takes a lot to be able to look at yourself and realize that, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
I think everyone does it when they turn 30. It's like this Saturn return.
I'm 45 and I'm starting to do it now. So
okay.
I'm a little bit behind the curve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're coming towards the end of our time.
Oh my God, already?
Yeah, it's flown by. But I definitely want to have you come back after you've done the run and talk about how that was.
Amazing.
So February
14th, Valentine's Day.
Okay.
It's
what a great way to celebrate.
Honestly, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, the only person that you've got in your whole life is you. Like, if I can do something like that for myself on Valentine's Day, that is the best gift I can, the best act of love that I could ever give myself is all of this work, 8 months of preparation, training 10 times a week.
That's awesome. No, it's amazing.
I love that it's on that. At first I was like, oh, what happens if I have a boyfriend? And I was like, that's not going to happen. Also, that's not going to happen. I train 10 to 10 times a week and I work.
You can do what I did and fall in love with your personal trainer and get married.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, you can do it. It can work.
Okay, maybe I should. Okay,
I'll
think about that.
There's a lot of, my gym has a great personal trainers. But what we do is we have wild questions.
Okay.
Within one of these tins, in each one of these tins, there's a question.
Okay.
You point to which tin, and I will read out a question.
Can I choose the one that's the...
You can choose whichever one you like.
This one. Okay. Actually, no, the one on the top. We'll make it easy.
No, you don't have to.
No.
Okay.
I have OCD, so yeah.
Should I put that back before I read the question?
No.
Just
no, it's fine.
It's okay?
You can leave that there.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. Is there something you feel you have missed out on in life? And what is it?
That is a good question. No, I've been thinking a lot recently because of this whole relationship thing and being out of a relationship for a year and a half for the first time in my adult life, and looking back on a lot of like really toxic relationships that I had before, which is, you know, my own choosing. I was really bad at choosing people, or bad people were good at choosing me. But I don't know actually whether I've ever experienced love. Like, I always feel like I did in the time.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's because my perception of love for myself has changed now, and but like, I don't know whether I've ever experienced that. So maybe that. But honestly, I've kind of been quite lucky, and if I feel like I'm missing out on something, I'll find a way to be able to get there.
Okay.
Or I manifest it. Like, there's so much stuff in my life where I've thought about, you know, I really, really want something, and I've put it to bed. Actually, this is something that I would suggest for everyone to do.
Okay.
Is every year I write myself a letter, and I do it to future me. It's like a website.
Yeah.
And you send it to yourself a year in advance. But you write it as in its present tense.
Okay.
And I've done it for the past 2 years. And the accuracy of that letter is absolutely insane. Like, so 2 years ago, I wrote one for last year, and I was with a partner. So I do it August to August to August to August.
Okay.
I wrote the one in 2023 when I was with a partner who I could see things were going wrong. And there was sort of like me being like, I might not be with this person, or I'm not with this person anymore. And I have this house and I have this sofa that I love. Like, I made it really specific of all of the stuff that I felt like I'd been deprived of before. And then last August, I forgot that I'd written the letter, and I got the letter through on email, and I was like, oh my God, literally every single, like 99% of it was correct.
Epic.
And then I did it again, and I got my letter in August, on the 8th of August this year. And considering that last August I wasn't planning on moving anywhere, especially not out of the country, and this one was like, I won't be living in London anymore, and I'm really, really happy with my space, and I'm surrounded with incredible friends who support me, and I really love myself now, and I've worked really hard to put myself in this position.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really grateful for that. And then I read this letter, and I was like, oh my God, again, it's because you forget what you write.
Yeah. There's a website you do this on.
Yeah, you do it. Just write it to yourself on future me. There's lots of different services that you can do it. You just send yourself a letter in the future, but you have to write it in present tense. So when you read it, it's like, I woke up this morning and I was in the apartment of my dreams, and I was surrounded by family that I loved, and my family is really healthy, and, you know, I'm being recognized for the things that I'm passionate about, and all of that. So
wonderful.
Yeah, it's honestly, I would really, really suggest it if you've never done anything like that before.
I've never thought about doing it. I would like to try and do that. I heard Mr. Beast talking about doing something like that, where he posted a video when he was starting out, and he posted a video like 5 years later saying, hey, you know, this is me now. I have like 10,000 followers, blah, blah. And he's blown up. He had millions and millions. Like, it was just like, he never in his mind thought that it was going to be like that. And it was, you know. Yeah. And he got it like 5 years later or something like that.
It's amazing. I think that it's all a form of manifestation. I also video journal. I've been video journaling for the last like year, where like I'll record. I find writing journaling quite difficult because I try and like dictate it too much. I try and like make it too correct, whereas it should just be sort of
like a brain drain.
And so I do video journals, and when things were tough last year, I started doing them, and then I started, you know.
Do you post them as well, or
no? They're just for me. My iCloud is absolutely backed up, but yeah, and then I started doing them at the end of last year to future me as well, and I'd be like, at the moment we're so proud of like everything that we're building, and, you know, like, just so you know, if you ever watch this back, like, well done for doing it. Hopefully you get to where you are.
Yeah.
So it's all sort of like this manifesting and setting yourself goals that are achievable, but sometimes you just don't know how you're going to get there. And then as long as you believe in yourself, it just happens, I guess.
Okay. Well, Tatum, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been great talking to you. We could definitely talk more, and we will talk more after you've done your race, and we'll talk about how that was, and, you know, and how you coped with all that, and see how things are in 6 months' time.
Yeah, hopefully I don't look too disheveled after doing so much training.
Not at all.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.